As we covered in my video yesterday, Roma have made a 20 million bid for Jadon Sancho, and they've got encouragement that Jadon Sancho is open to the move. That all came in from Fabrizio Romano. Romano is now saying the bid is going to be accepted if Jadon Sancho can agree personal terms with Roma. Please, Sancho, stop asking for these ridiculous wages you're never going to get and leave. It's a World Cup year. There's an opportunity for minutes. Please leave. Talking of another player, we want to leave Alejandro Garnacho. We got to talk about this Chelsea situation. Apparently advancing. Apparently it's close. Apparently it's really hot. Apparently it's nearly done. Apparently it's getting closer. But then we keep getting told the same stories over and over again. Yes, we know Garnacho's agreed personal terms. Yes, we know we want 50 million. Chelsea want 30 million. We're going to talk about that. But we've got to talk about Baleba. Romano has given updates on Baleba. Man United want to make it happen. Ruben Amorim, Ineos, Ratcliffe, they all want to make it happen. They're all ready to test the waters, put in this bid. Manchester United ready to make a crazy offer to make the Baleba deal happen. We're going to talk about that, the Baleba plan, the situation. Could he be coming next year? Will he come this year? And just updates on injuries and stuff if we get time. So, hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news, transfer news, and update show roundup. Well, we're rounding up all the news into 10 minutes for you guys. So, let's dive into it. AS Roma are still waiting for Jadon Sancho to give his green light to the move. Manchester United prepared to accept Roma's 20 million bid for Sancho, but waiting for Sancho's decision. So if Sancho says yes, we'll accept the bid. Of course he will. We're just so desperate to get rid of him. And we're going to get £20 million and he can adios. Considering he's got 1 year left on his contract, how much he cost us, 20 million is a good deal for Roma. The bad deal is Sancho's ridiculous wage demands, which he's really deluded to think that he's going to get. I think Chelsea offered him 180 grand a week. I can't see Roma offering Sancho any more than Chelsea did, unless Sancho's got the reality check of actually, wait, he probably should have accepted Chelsea and is maybe sitting there in regret that he didn't accept Chelsea thinking he'd get more. Because I think, honestly, Sancho thought when he rejected Chelsea, he'd get more money from Juventus and Inter, realised he's not going to get more money from Juventus and Inter, has offers from Turkey and Saudi, but doesn't want to go there because wants to stay in the top 5 league, probably regrets maybe not accepting Chelsea now that they look great and they're probably offering the best money, and maybe he's now in a decision of, do I go to Roma where it's less money and just accept that I'm not going to earn as much because I haven't done really anything in the last 4 years to warrant the wages I'm on? Or do I go back to Manchester United, force a low move so I can have 1 more year of these ridiculous wages, waste another year of my career, which I've already done for 2 seasons? You know, I had a goodish season at Chelsea last year, but the season before, he refused to play football for 4 or 5 months. The season before, we had to give him 4 or 5 months off, which is absolutely fine. Mental health is really important. It comes first. But does he want to sit around for another 4 or 5 months and not play football and hope he gets a move in January so he can earn his wages? I don't know. Just accept a wage you can't leave. That's my mindset. You know, do you really want to wait till deadline day and force United into a loan? Do you really want to sit around until January and not play football? You know, the World Cup was coming up. There's a good player in Sancho. I think he'd do really well in Italy. I think he'd succeed in Italy. I honestly think Sancho will be really good if he went to Italy. And maybe he can get back in the England squad, but it depends if he wants it or he prefers the money. Talking a player that wants to leave, which isn't a financial issue, and I'm more than happy for him to stay and be in the reserves for the next 6 months if we're not going to get an actual price for him. But Chelsea have agreed terms with Garnacho. Boom. Easy. Done. Sorted. Man United insist on receiving 50 million, arguing that Garnacho should not be sold for less than the 52 million that saw Mona Madueke moved from Chelsea to Arsenal. Absolute facts. Absolute facts. Chelsea are a direct rival of ours. Maybe not this season because they'll be a lot ahead of us. We shouldn't be helping out a rival and giving them a good player that we produce for a cut price of £30 million. Absolute spot on. Chelsea value Garnacho at 30 million. We want 50 million. That is facts. Yeah? And I said this here. I am surprised that someone with Garnacho's ego isn't getting annoyed about Chelsea valuing him at 30 million in this market. Like, Garnacho thinks he's the guy. He's 10 times better than he is, yeah? I think Garnacho's a good player. I think he's a £60 million player. I think he's underrated. But Garnacho's ego is it's crazy. He's there going to United, well, I'll stay if you don't sell me on the cheap. Excuse me? If Chelsea wanted you that badly, they would pay 50 million for you, because 50 million in this market for you is a good price. Chelsea don't rate you that high if they think they can get you for 30 million. They don't rate you that high, mate, if they think they can get you 30 million. So rather than threatening Man United, maybe you should say to Chelsea, why are you valuing me at 30 million? I'm obviously a 50, 60 million pound player. And people will say, yeah, but obviously the public fallout's made his price go down. Exactly. But in this, he would have been, what, 60, 65 million? Last year, we probably would have got 70 million for him. Let's be honest. He shouldn't be going for less than Madueke. If Madueke is 52 million, he's 60. Okay, he's fallen out of amorim. We'll sell him for 50. 2 million less than Madueke. That's fair. Amari Hutchinson is going for nearly 40 million pounds. Jacob Ramsey, who's been injured and not really done much the last 2 years, but I think will be a really good signing for Newcastle, is going for 40 million pounds. Gittins, who scored 1 goal in the last 6 months, plays in the Bundesliga. Dortmund are not a direct rival of Manchester United. Was very poor in the Bundesliga. It's the same age as Garnacho, but far less experienced and had a worse season than Garnacho. Is going for 55 million to Chelsea. Chelsea made 30 million for Dewsbury Hall, 44 million for João Felix, who was so crap last season that nobody wanted him other than Saudi. Ouattara is going for 42 million. He wasn't even a starter for an 11th place side who's older than Garnacho. Tyler Diblin got relegated and is worse than Garnacho and is valued at 45 plus 5 million pounds from a relegated side. Amari Hutchinson going for 40 million from a relegated side. Yes, Garnacho's fallen out of amorim, but also when you get relegated, you're in a weaker negotiating position, and these teams are still selling for better than us. Madueke, 52 million, older than Garnacho, worse than Garnacho. Alanga, 55 million. Garnacho was better than him at Manchester United. And Bumo, 70 million. Give us 50 million. Give us 50 million or F off. I'm so bored of these Chelsea updates, back forth, back forth. Give us 50 million there. Continuing on, this is the big news coming from Romano. Manchester United is set to approach Brighton for Carlos Baleba as they prepare an opening proposal to make a deal happen. So Romano has come out now and said Manchester United are preparing an opening proposal, an opening bid, an opening offer. So we've had all these talks with Brighton, despite Brighton not wanting to sell. We're still in talks with Brighton after a few days, despite Brighton not wanting to sell. And we're now preparing a proposal to make the deal happen. Romano is saying United are preparing a proposal to make the deal happen. So that says to me a record bid could be going in. Indy Cala obviously said 2 days ago that Manchester United's bid is imminent. United are preparing a bid. There's a lot of talk behind the scenes that Manchester United are preparing a record-breaking bid, but they want to keep it quiet. They want to get this deal done quickly and smoothly behind the scenes. I hope it's correct. Romano says that Manchester United is set to approach Brighton for Carlos Baleba and make an opening proposal. There's reports saying that we're going to make a crazy offer to try and make this deal happen. And Romano said that we want to make the deal happen. It was also said by Ben Jacobs on Give Me Sport that Ruben Amorim is telling Wilcox and Vivel to go and bid for Baleba now to show some ambition, to get me a ball winner, find me an athlete in the middle of the park. And he said 2 days ago, Ben Jacobs, that Manchester United are not ruling out making a formal bid to sign Baleba this summer. They want to test Brighton's stance. There's a lot of rumours now of a world record bid coming in. So if we've gone to Brighton have said we've agreed not to sell him, yet 3 days later, we're still having talks with Brighton. We've agreed terms with the player and we're now preparing a bid. Let's be honest. People are saying, well, Brighton aren't going to sell him. Brighton said they weren't going to sell Moises Caicedo. They said they weren't going to sell Moises Caicedo. It's a negotiation tactic. Brighton want to get 100 million plus out of Manchester United. Brighton want to get another world record fee. That's what Brighton love to do. Brighton will go, we're not for sale. He's not going to sell him. Brighton do this with every player that they get big money for. They're not for sale. We're not going to sell them. They're linked to the club. They convince everybody the deal's off. They're not going to sell them. And boom, huge bid comes in. It's a huge bid. Maybe we can't bid that much. Maybe Man United think they can get him for 80 million and Brighton are never going to do 80 million deal and Brighton want 120 million. And maybe we won't get him. Maybe we'll get him next year. Maybe doing the groundwork to get him next year. Samuel Lutkos did suggest that United are prepared to delay a move for Baleba until next year, but we've not given up on signing him. Maybe we do get him next year instead. Maybe we're just doing the groundwork now, so it's easier to get him next year when there's more competition. But if we're going to get Baleba next year, we'd still need to get a good midfielder in this year. We can't go into this season without a midfielder. And Amorim is aware of that. Amorim is pretty much begging it. We need a midfielder. Ratcliffe wants Amorim to get off to a good start of the season, really pushing. Man United are really pushing on the Carlos Baleba deal behind the scenes, wanting to make it happen, wanting to get it done quickly. Maybe need the Gacho sale and the Sancho sale to go through to make it happen. Please, Sancho, leave. Deal today for Sancho. Please leave. But we'll have to wait and see. Last but not least, Masraoui is likely out for the season opener against Arsenal due to a minor injury. He's currently doing rehabilitation work. Thank you for watching. Bye.